I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above.
Runway awareness. Okay.
Meters.
So bright and fine. Every turn brings something new. Endless skies in brilliant blue.
BeyondATC connected.
The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
Hello everyone and welcome to the glide slope, and yeah, we're back at it, and look at that, we actually have two A300s side by side. That will definitely never happen in real life. This is not a thing. There's only one A300 flying to Lisbon on a daily basis. It would be awesome to see two of them though. This is AI, the one with the rainbow there. This is the one we'll be flying today. And yes, this is the Inibuilds A300. And to tell you the truth, I'm a bit scared because you guys know last time we tried at least 3 times to make the flight last until the landing, and we were forced to abort the live stream due to WASM crashes. I already explained this in my channel. If you guys go and look into my topics in my YouTube channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what the WASM crash is, and yeah, it's not good. And when it happens, there's no recovery, absolutely no recovery. Some planes have the autosave system, so you can technically load a saved situation, so you can save the flight in a certain stage and then return to it, so restart the flight and reload the flight, and so recover from a crash like that. But unfortunately the A300 does not have that capability, never had. Maybe in the future it will have, but not right now. So first of all, Andrew and Drexy, welcome. And today we're going to talk about StrataWX, and for the first time I'm going to show you what this program is all about. I say it for the first time because I usually don't do product reviews. I do impromptu reviews a lot, but not like hardcore product reviews. But I am going to make an exception with this product because you guys are going to see how robust this is. Now, if you guys are like me and I've been in this business for 25 years now, I've already said many times that I've been through a lot of simulations, a lot of programs, and a lot of add-ons. And one of the programs that I've used over time, ever since Flight Simulator 2024, is a weather injector, because back then weather injection in these simulators wasn't good. And once upon a time there was this company called HIFI, and they had something called Active Sky, and that's the thing that I've been using for eons now, it seems. And yes, Active Sky is a great program, but it lacked one thing that's very important in my humble opinion. It lacked competition. And today we have it, and I'm very excited to show you what it looks like. So here we go. So I'm going to skip to uh, the, there it is. So this is the StrataWX interface, and as you can see, it's already loading weather. So this is live, as you can see up here. And look at this interface. If you guys know Active Sky, if you remember Active Sky, you know how outdated that interface looked like. And it still is. They did some tweaking here and there, but the general interface is very outdated. But, you know, looks can be deceiving. Sometimes apps like these show up and they have these great looks, but eventually the usage or the user interface doesn't really jive with what the program does. But let me tell you, I've been using this for the last 24 hours, and I'm just excited, not only with the interface, which is very sleek, but also with the way it injects weather into the flight sim, which is absolutely amazing. And I'll show you what I mean. So here it is. This is the main page for the live system. So basically it's downloading real world weather. You can see right here what it does. It's just like what you would expect from any weather injector. So it's downloading METARs on a regular basis. Honestly, I don't know how regular these downloads are. I know that in Active Sky you can set up as low as 10 minutes. Hey Andrew, hey Drexy, thank you for coming, guys. I know that in Active Sky you can download as little between the interval is it can be a little as 10 minutes, but here it seems that the weather can be downloaded a little faster. But I'll show you how that works. So you now see that it added moderate turbulence. So it probably downloaded and now it's set up a new turbulent layer between 8 to 6,000 feet. Actually, is that a B or an 8? Hard to say. So coming up from the top, you see here, this is the weather conditions in the glance. So you perfectly visible what happens is 75% cloud cover, 13 knots wind, and 37% turbulence. So it gives you a snap view of what you can expect with the current weather at the location that you're at. Now this is dynamic, and of course it will change from station to station. From what I've been gathering, it doesn't stick with the local METAR. You see here, this is my current coordinates at Lisbon, but you can see that it's injecting 3 models. So it means that it's not just loading the Lisbon Airport METAR, it's actually loading adjacent stations and making comparisons. And this is why you can see here that there's an 88% agree. So the higher the agree, the more accurate the weather stations are reporting stuff. So this is pretty cool. And coming down here, you can see that there are these are the wind profiles, so the atmosphere profiles. It's a little hard to understand, but this is ISA deviation. So this is temperature deviation over altitude, which you would think it's pretty reasonable at 23 degrees at ground level. These are the wind farps. You can see that they're so north is up, of course, and then there's your orientation. It's a little hard to read, to be honest, but temperature, altitude, and these are the cloud layers. So there's one cloud layer here from surface to about 5,500, well, more than that, 7,000 feet, and there's another cloud layer at 35,000 feet. So very easy to read. Radar. I think this is a little underestimated by the team, and I'm going to talk with them about this. There's no way to increase or decrease range. And so currently you're only seeing a gray circle, but once it's working, you'll see that there will be vicinity turbulence or vicinity precipitation around the plane, which is, a snap view. It's not really what you would expect from a weather radar, but it's good to have. I'll show you another feature that's way better than this. And these are the hazards. So right now we have light turbulence between flight level, well, actually at flight level 401, so at way altitude, way up there. No icing, so if there was icing detected, you would get information here. Also very important, the cloud decks. So we have few clouds, cirrus clouds at 31 to 35,000 feet, so probably this one here. Then we have stratus between 1,700 feet and 6,675 feet, and cumulus. So there's a mix between stratus and cumulus. And if you know your weather, you know that cumulus are thunderstorm clouds. Cumulus, cumulonimbus, those are big bad boys. And so this is what we'll see in the sim in a moment. And of course the winds aloft, which is very important. And down here you can see here that there is our METAR, as you'd expect, and also ATIS. So you can download your ATIS. Well, you can get your ATIS from this weather station, from this program, which is very handy if you don't have BeyondATC, for example. Very handy, live, and so this is what you got. Now, imagine if you want to go back in time and you want to go to let's say that this afternoon the weather is nice, but yesterday it was raining like hell. Well, you have historical. I'm not going to change it here. I'm going to change it here, and I'll explain why. Historical allows you to set a date and a time, and you can set that date or time on the aircraft, on the airport, or at specific coordinates. So aircraft is where you're at right now. Airport, you can pick an airport where you want that. So let's say that the weather was bad at Seattle right here. This is the KSEA, that's Seattle. You're departing from New York, but you will arrive at Seattle. If you want historical weather for that specific waypoint, you can do that right here. And you can set historical here. So I'll explain the difference between this menu and this menu. But you can set it up here, very handy. Same with coordinates, specific coordinates. If you know where a hurricane was located yesterday, for example, you can get that historical data in time and then just apply and inject. This is one of the things that I'm most excited to use in the future. So this is called hybrid mode. And well, actually, this is sandbox. Let's go through hybrid mode first, and I'll explain what sandbox we can talk about right after, because you'll see how intuitive it is. So this is hybrid mode. This is the most exciting thing I think we can use with this program. So what this does is it gets certain data like temperature, winds, temperature, and pressure, but then you can author other stuff. So let's say that you got your winds, your temperature, and your pressure. That's real time, live. But if you want to tune in, like, okay, so even though I got the winds correct, the temperature and all that, the winds is important for the runway departure and arrival. Temperature is important for your aircraft performance, same with pressure. But you want clouds. So let's say today the weather is okay, but it's KVOC. You want to touch that. You can either come here and set up your precipitation, or you can just say, I want fair cumulus, so you press here, or you want overcast, or you want thunderstorms actually, which would be a little more dramatic. You can do that right here, and what it does is it will not change your current wind, so you're prepared to land on that runway just like in real time, but you add a little cloud layer, you had a little challenge with a thunderstorm, or you're just tweaking your local time, your local weather. So let's say that you look outside and it's not exactly like the METAR is processing. You can tweak that here. Granted, you don't have a lot of things to work with, but you can add cloud layers. So this is what they call deck. decks. So you can add cloud layers, you can add thunderstorm, you can add precipitation, even snow cover on the ground, depending on the scenery. Of course, you know that this is not linear in NFS 2024. All of this is tweaked, and then everything else looks similar. You can see here that there's a red mark here, so that means that we are inside. If we were to load this right now, we would be inside a thunderstorm, severe turbulence. None of this is currently in the sim, and of course the winds will be absolutely out of this world. 80 knots at 25,000 feet. Actually, more than that, 34,000 feet. But this will interfere, of course, with the weather below. So this is hybrid mode, very handy, very robust, and quite useful if your METAR is not giving you the weather you want. And then let's go back to Sandbox, like I was talking about. So Sandbox allows you to create your weather, basically. BeyondATC, Active Sky, no, BeyondATC has nothing to do with this. Active Sky, you can create weather. There is an engine there, but I always found it very confusing to use. This one, slide bars, just the way you like it. You can add different altimeter pressure. It is in inches. You can change that. I'll show you where it is. You can change your temperature, precipitation. You can add thunderstorms, so thunderstorm clouds. Wind profiles. You can also add several layers. I don't know how many you can add. Oh, there it is, 24 layers. There it is, a lot of cloud layers, and of course you will have your same readings as the other modes. This time will be completely fictional, depending on what you set on your sandbox. Now, I've shown you live weather conditions, I've shown you historical, I've shown you sandbox mode, and hybrid mode, the one that I favor the most. But how do you inject this? So right now, if you go back to the sim, we have, so let's go outside. So this is the A300. Hopefully our flight today will be in the A300. And I want to go outside. So looking outside, you can see that this is live weather, so live time and live weather. And yeah, the weather around Lisbon isn't that great. So this is live weather, all right? And now I'm going to go here to my Strata, and I'm going to inject in the sandbox mode. I'm going to inject thunderstorms, and you'll see how gradually the weather will change. I set it to gradual. There are 3 modes that you can set. You can set fast change, you can set it to slow, or cinematic. I just set it to cinematic. I'm just waiting for it to inject it. You can also load a little screen here so you can see what Strata is doing. So you see, I selected cinematic. So something's up. Let me check what's going on. I wonder if it's not. Oh, there it is, Strata Live. So you need to be sure to have Strata Live. Oh, look at that. Active Sky does this quite a lot, adding like different weather presets. Same with the A346. So for some reason it's not injecting. Oh, I know why. I was in the wrong tab. Alright, here we go now. Thunderstorms, here we come. Alright, so now it's injected. And because I changed the mode, it was instant. Let me put some sound here. Oh, no. There we go. There it is. Alright, so now I'm going to change the weather in such a way that it will force that cinematic change. Alright, so here we go. So I'm reducing the sliders. You guys can't really see it because it's a different screen. Alright, that was too fast. That's not what I picked. So let's set smooth here. So probably did something wrong. Alright. Let's go back to the screen. Actually. Oh, I know what's going on. So, here it is. So the sandbox mode is immediate. Alright, so when you change something in sandbox, don't expect things to be smooth. You're just changing to what you want. You send it to the sim, so it's instant. Now I'm going to do this a little different. So I'm going with hybrid mode. You guys aren't seeing this, but I just changed to hybrid. And now I'm going to set thunderstorms. And it should be a smooth transition now. Let's see. You can see the clouds moving up there. You can see now it's thunderstorms broken 75. Let's change it to overcast. So you see the clouds moving. It's slowly changing. Still raining though, but it's no longer thunderstorm. Let's go back to fair cumulus. So I just changed it, and as you can see, it's slowly but steadily changing the weather. There's never been this amount of control over the weather with Active Sky. See, now it's slowly changing. Now I made this a very dramatic change. I changed it to thunderstorm, to overcast, to fair cumulus. Of course this will never happen in real life, but if in the METAR there are slight changes, you see how smooth it changes things. So doing this with the program, this is God mode. This will never happen in real life. But now let's transition to live weather. Let's see it smoothly change to live. It will take a moment. You can see here how many times it's updating your weather data. So right now it downloaded from StrataWX, it downloaded almost 6,000 updates into the weather injection system. So I changed it to live, just waiting for it to clear things up. There it is. And smoothly you can make this cinematic and it will be a little more dramatic, but smoothly it's going to change the weather to depict live. Now again, in real life the weather wouldn't change as fast as we're seeing here. That's because there's no like switch button to turn on bad weather or turn off good weather. So it will grow and it will depict clouds in such a way that is defined by the METAR and the weather stations around them, that central METAR. But if it's too different from the weather you picked earlier, then it's going to be as dramatic as you see here. Another thing that I've noticed is that the cloud coverage and the way it parses the METAR in such a way that really gives you overcast, really gives you broken, really, I mean, the cloud depiction and the cloud density is really good. I mean, look at that. I'm not in Lisbon right now, but I bet if I look outside, this is what I would see. From my location, my current location in the northern part of Portugal, I can definitely see the cloud dark as it is here, but maybe here the weather is a little different than in Lisbon. So awesome thing this program is. And look at this, we're going back to the, let's go back to Strata. And now again we're back in the live panel, and I'm going to show you two other things that are very cool about this. So here it is, the weather radar. So you see in real time not just the weather that you currently have, but also historically it will parse over time so it will tell you the time. I've noticed this little bug, so last 2 hours it won't draw for some reason. Not hours, minutes, less 20 minutes it won't draw, but then it will draw again and again. And as you can see the movement, and this is very important for weather prediction. You know that the winds are coming from the south. If there's storms forming over Lisbon, you know that those storms are going to go up all the way towards Galicia. So it's very important. And this is around the world. You can also see, well, probably too far to render in the United States, but you can see how far it can go and how much. Oh, look at that. That's very bad between England and France right there. We did this flight yesterday, if you guys remember. Not yesterday, on Tuesday. We did a London-Lisbon. We would have catched this. And look at the Gulf of Biscay, always with weather formations. Now, this is all very good in theory, but we want to see it in action, right? So let's go back in the game and let's make our flight. And again, guys, I'm hoping this plane can fly today. And I'm going to close this. I'm hoping this plane's going to fly today. We are taking a very short flight for this type of aircraft. We're going from Lisbon to Barcelona in the cargo freight. And the reason why I picked it, it's because I don't want to take chances. I really want this flight to last. And during the flight, we'll see the weather, and I'll return to the Strata page so we can see it in action. All right, so first of all, let's load the flight. Here it is. So we are to depart in, well, in 1 minute, so we will not make it. But anyway, oh, this is Zulu time. We got 1 hour. Ah, that's fine. This is Zulu time, so it's plus 1 hour for us. So here we go. We're gonna go from Lisbon to Barcelona, and honestly, I don't know why, but I've never flown to Barcelona in my channel. I did a few flights for testing to Barcelona in the past, but for some reason I've skipped Barcelona multiple times. I've flown to Spain a few times and just not to Barcelona. Alright, so welcome to the flight deck. I'm not going to waste my time explaining again what this plane is and what it does. It's a classic Airbus, the very first Airbus to fly, and it's very special because it's end of an era and the beginning of another era. So it's the end of the analog and the birth of digital, and so there's a mix between these two generations. And there's a lot of planes from this era that were very similar, which had like these instruments were digital, but then the ACAS or the ECAM or whatever you want to call it, they were all analog. This plane was the first one, I believe, to have 6 screens. I don't remember. No, maybe the 757 had 6 screens as well, so maybe I'm overreacting. But yeah, of course, there are a lot of variants of the A300. This is the latest one. So there's an earlier version with analog instruments without any CDUs and having analog inertial systems, just like the L1011. Alright, but this one's the most modern one, if you want, from all the A300s. Let's request our flight plan here. There it is, Lisbon to Barcelona. We got our call sign Delta, so this is DHS, not Delta. DHS 73 Triangle Juliet. We're going to start aligning our IRSs, and we're going to request GSX to board. Of course, this is a cargo freight plane. It's not going to be passengers boarding today, but actual cargo. Alright, so everything. Just need to skip all these warnings. Done. Let's call, so let's come down here. Let's call ACARS. AOC. Pre-flight check. Pre-flight. I'll open the cargo. Can't you do it yourself, GSX? Alright, I'll open for you. So let's request the ATC facility will of course be LPPT. Same with our departure. We can do this much better. Let's turn this to actually cars VOC. We're gonna need receive messages here. So we are going to LEVL. It's Barcelona. We are in gate 802. And we got 80s. We got 80s X-ray. Sent. Pre-departure clearance sent. Let's revert here to tune, close this, and wait for the message to be received. While our cargo is being loaded, we are coming here. We're gonna, you know what, we're gonna take horses today. And we're gonna load the aircraft according to sim brief. Let's finish the refueling now. So we got our call to check on the messages. We are cleared to Barcelona, runway 20 departure via Orve, 1 Sierra, climb via SID to 15,000 feet, squawk 5440. So let's set the squawk right now, 5440. And let's set our altitude to 1500, not 1500, 15,000. Oh, we can't right now, alright? Because the MCP is turned off. This plane is a little different. You'll bear with me. Alright, so we'll comply. Send. And let's leave that open there because you're going to need it. So let's go to our flight plan here. Let's take our SID, runway 20 via Orvet, 1 Sierra. There it is. And that's it. Insert. Bingo. Done. Now, we need to fill in this performance page for the takeoff. We also need to wait for the INS to align. And we need, of course, to load the weights. Just gonna go through the pages real quick. There it is. So now the plane is loaded by SimBrief. We can just press here and it will load the block. Zero fuel weight and takeoff, cross weight. Just not the zero fuel weight CG that you need to bring it up here. So zero fuel weight Mach is 30.45. And you need to be careful. So 30. And it will round to 30.5 as it should. So our cruise will be flight level 340. I'm going to take a good look at our flight plan here to confirm that. My flight, view flight plan. Yep, 340. We're not even going to step climb today. Curiously, the cost index is 36. That's very curious. This plane usually has a very high cost index, but not today. Now, how did it make this work? So remember, last time I flew, we had a WASM crash every time I inserted a star for our destination. And apparently that's caused by the Navigraph nav data. So there's this program called Navigraph, this platform, where we can update our ARAC, so our navigation data, via Navigraph. Apparently that's causing this plane to crash for some reason. So the only way to do it is let go of Navigraph of this plane. So if I go here to en route charts and I pick one of these, so let's say IFR load, none of them work because my charts aren't loaded. We're stuck with standard, which is bad, it could be better. If I go here to the charts, however, I do have charts, but these are Lido charts. So not Navigraph, not Jepson charts. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of Lido, never was. Because look at this, I'm looking for my specific departure. And I'm doing that because we have time. So we are Orve 1 Sierra. Where is Orve 1 Sierra on the SIDS page? There isn't. There's only one page called nav SIDS, our nav SIDS for runway 20, which is the one we're taking. And if I press here, look at this mess. I mean, you can get used to it, and it's kind of intuitive what to search for. But no, I don't like it. I never liked it. It's never been my choice of charts, to be honest. And I know that a lot of airlines in Europe use Lido charts. I don't like them. Never did. The good thing about Lido charts in FS 2024 is that they are also updated, and they're free, but that's it. If you can't afford Navigraph, this is free, so pretty good. So where is Orved 1 Sierra? So we are taking 020 now. Yeah, we are. So where are they? Probably over here. Orved, Ulvot, Elnub, Zfog. There it is, Orved 1 Sierra. So we take off, turn right 115, then turn left actually. Then turn left 020, 050 all the way towards Orved, which is out of the chart. This happens quite a lot. These are never to scale. Well, they are always to scale. That's the problem. If they weren't to scale, you will actually see the waypoint. But you can't insert all these SIDs into one chart and expect to fit them all in the screen. So here we go. We're going to depart using Orved 1 Sierra, and we're going to stick with this Lido chart. So we are going to pin this. We're also going to need the airport charts. So right now, these are the coordinates. This is not what I want. So instead of having a page called charts or ground or something like that, we need to search around. So this is the taxi chart for runway 20. Actually, this is for. So we are right here at apron 80. So we're probably going to make this through Whiskey 1, Alpha 5, uniform. Then we're going to cross all the way down there. If BeyondATC doesn't get our plane stuck, which it unfortunately does quite a lot. Alright, so we already pinned. Alright, so we got these two pinned. There it is. Whoops, I just removed that pin. That's not what I wanted to do. There it is. What are the difference between SID and SID PT? What is SID PT? Ah, it's just info, written info. Alright, nice. It's good to know that. Alright. So what is RMC? MRC. So it's just the altitude limitations. IAC is the RNP approaches, and then probably stars, yeah. AFC, AOI, what's AOI? Oh, general operational data. So we are still being loaded. Not really in a rush for that. Let's look at that. Still loading those little horses. It's pretty cool to see these machines working. But yeah, you got little horses. We'll take a look at the little horses in a moment. So 92%, we're almost done. We got our charts loaded in. Let's leave here. We got our weight and balance is done. Let's go for the takeoff performance. Let's bring up our DATs for Lisbon. Here we go. So this toolbar is all messed up. Don't look at it. So 220 at 11. And OAT is 21. Still mildly hot. And QNH is 1017. Whoops, missed the zero there. 7. Done. So our aircraft weight, for some reason it didn't sync. Ah, there it is. Calculate. Alright, we got flex 58, V1 is 151, VR is 158, V2 162. We got our MTOW is 166.5 and our CG is 32.5. So let's update all that data now except for V2. That needs to be done up there, but we don't have that MCP ready yet. So let's go to take off. V1 is 151, 158, 151, V1, 158 for VR, and V2 is not placed here. It needs to be on the FCU above. Alright, looks good. We're also going to need the flex temperature. That's inserted here. Sorry, I was thinking, where is the flex? Okay, it's not here. It's on the auto thrust panel here. Still waiting for GSX to finish loading, and we can just right now get some power to the galley, and let's start our APU. So APU starts here. And wait for this light on the fuel pump to turn off, and we start our APU. The fuel pump is on auto anyway. So the starter's coming up, here it comes. Starting up. EGT should rise up more or less to the middle and then come down. This is gas temperature. APU available. So let's bleed air into the aircraft, and we can hear the nice air conditioning sound. We can turn off external power now. We can also turn on all the pumps here on the overhead. These are all automatically operated, so no need to manage them. These are the probe heats. These are important for the EGT calculations and all that. For the FADEC system, not really important for now, so we just turn it on and forget about it. Alright, so we got APU available, and now we can set the plane nav logo on. Also set the no smoking on. It's no longer refueling. Turn on every single system from that includes the FCU, and now we're going to insert the V2 here. It's 162. There it is, 162, and flex to temperature is going to be 58 degrees. A little different from other Airbuses, but you can kind of see the DNA here. Alright, looks good. Let's get to the ground, and let's, how's GSX by the way? They've not sent. Apparently we're done. Let's look outside. Yep, looks like, oh, sorry. It looks like we're done for loading. We're good to go, so let's close that main door. Here it comes. So I'm going to show you the little horses. So as soon as that door closes, and the door is closed, you can see the little horses there. They're static, of course, they don't move, but it's cool to see them. Kind of gives you a respect of how these animals are transported between countries. It's crazy. Alright, so just closing the door here. Where's that door? Right here. Right. Oh, that's slamming the door there. Alright, we're good to go. Let's request push and start. Oh, that one. So otherwise we're not here.
Hello, Captain. We are ready to push back.
I believe I reduced volume for BeyondATC much better. No longer need the GPU. Parking brake is set, so we can chops.
Runway 20, exit to holding point Bravo, runway 20, via uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, Air Hazards 127.
Bypass 57.
Europa 17 Sierra Lima, taxi to stand 125 by Hotel 3 Golf, Alpha 3. Taxi to stand 125 by Hotel 3 Golf, Alpha 3.
So we are clear to fly. 15,000.
QNH 10 Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa,
Here.
413, request pushback. Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, Lisbon ground, pushback,
Not
approved. Face north. Pushback and engine start approved, face north, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
See, the weather is changing a little bit. It's amazing. This program, StrataWX, it's amazing the way it injects fuel. So we're going to need our nose to the left and tail to the right. Parking brake released. Start number 1. So we're going to set crank to start A, not crank. And we're going to start number 2 first today. Looking at N1 here, but our data here is on N2. We need to reach 20% on N2 and inject fuel.
Red nose 27 HIT, via uniform 5, cross runway 20, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 20, via uniform Sierra 3 Bravo.
Via uniform
There
5,
it is.
cross runway 20, taxi to holding point Bravo,
Injection.
runway 20, via uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, red nose 27 Yankee.
By the way, this screen here is just replicating what you see here on the analog
Air
system.
Portugal 93 Lima Papa, ready to taxi to the active. Air Portugal 93
Parking brake
Lima
is set.
Papa, taxi via Lima 1 uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20. Taxi via Lima 1 uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20, Air Portugal
started.
93 Lima Papa. Air Azores 127, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105. Over to Tower
It's now stabilizing. Let's start number 1.
Air Azores 127, bye-bye.
Run our elapsed time as well. Same drill. Wait for 20% N1. Sorry, N2.
KLM98 Echo, gate 122, request pushback and engine start. KLM98 Echo, we have a good engine start. Pushback approved. Face south. Pushback approved, face south, KLM98 Echo.
Looks good. No longer need our APU lead, and we also don't need our APU let's call it in.
World Express 7210 Virginia Heavy taxi for departure.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, taxi via Bravo, Whiskey 1 Alpha 5, uniform hold short of runway 20.
Taxi via Bravo, Whiskey 1 Alpha 5, uniform, hold short of runway 20. World Express 7310 Virginia Heavy.
Alright, so we need to cross to runway 20.
Taxi to the active. KLM 98 Echo taxi via Alpha, uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20. Taxi
Go.
via Alpha, uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20. KLM 98
Oh my
Echo.
god, the frame today, the frame rate is so bad today. Alright, here we go. Flaps, set flaps 10. Actually, it's 15-0 for takeoff. Oh. Why is it not updating there? 6-2. Updating there. It's not.
Altimeter 20 Lima at land 402, request pushback and engine start.
Now it is. Alright, so
pushback and engine start approved. Face north.
Pushback
making sure I didn't forget anything,
20 Lima.
including the weights. Take off. Alright, looks good. Let's go back to let's leave it in performance. This one can go to flight plan. Alright, let's go. Taxi to the active. Okay, bring off. Set constraints. Set runway heading, which is 204.
Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa via uniform 5 cross runway 20, taxi to holding
Flight controls check.
20 via
Full
uniform
deflection
Sierra
left.
3 Bravo.
Neutral.
Via uniform 5 cross
Deflection
runway
right.
20,
Neutral.
taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 20 via uniform Sierra 3
Pitch up.
Bravo, Air Portugal
Neutral.
93 Lima Papa.
Pitch down. Let's turn here. Full rudder right. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral.
Altimeter 20 Lima ready to taxi to the
Checked.
active.
Possibly at 20 Lima, taxi via Lima 1 uniform, Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20.
Taxi via Lima 1 uniform Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20, Altimeter 20 Lima.
KLM 98 Echo via uniform 5 cross runway 20, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 20, uniform Sierra 3 Bravo. Uniform 5 cross runway 20, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 20, uniform Sierra 3 Bravo. KLM 98 Echo.
What happened there? That's weird. I don't think that should happen.
Line 62 X-ray
Maintenance.
runway 1202, request pushback.
Ryanair 62 X-ray
That's
Lisbon
fixed.
pushback and engine start approved. Safety.
That's
Pushback
odd.
and engine start approved. Face east. Line 62 X-ray Romeo.
That was very odd. But that was the emergency sliders. That only happens if you open the door when the doors are armed.
Contact tower 118.105, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, good day.
And there's a plane coming this side. It's not gonna stop, is he? Oh, it's racing it. Oh, it's on. It's on. Dusted.
Rodent Bear 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, holding short 20.
KLM 98 Echo, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105. Over to Tower 118.105, KLM 98 Echo. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, hold short of runway 20 departing traffic.
Hold short
short.
runway 20, Rodent Bear 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Line 62 X-ray Romeo, ready to taxi to actors. Line 62 X-ray Romeo, taxi via Zulu, Mike 4 Lima Uniform, Sierra 3 Bravo, hold short of runway 20. Taxi via Zulu, Mike 4 Lima Uniform, Sierra 3 Bravo.
Weather is holding.
Line 62 X-ray Romeo.
Looks like it's not raining anytime now. Lights on this plane are a little hard to figure out, but we'll get to it. These are the panel brightness. Oh, that's a very shallow takeoff there. So where are the main panel lights? So this is pedestal light, alright, this is bright and shiny. Where are the other lights? Oh, right here. Map line, not necessary. Captain, floodlights. Maybe more. Just this. Probably this will the MCU light switch. Storm lights, pretty good. Can we cross? Hold short. Oh, there was a plane. Landing, probably. Not sure. Any more planes taking off? Betsy's with us. Hello, Betsy. Same chart. Same flight
World
director.
Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, via Uniform 5 cross runway 20, taxi to holding point Bravo, runway 20 via
I'm not
Alpha
gonna
6
taxi.
Sierra 3 Bravo.
Via Uniform 5 cross runway 20, taxi
We're
to
not in
holding point
Uniform
Bravo,
5.
runway 20 via Alpha 6 Uniform, Sierra
Doesn't
3
make sense to
Bravo.
cross there.
Rodent Bear 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Makes sense to cross here. It's a straight line. This is a big plane. If I was to go through Uniform 5,
Approaching 20.
I would need to make a stupid right turn to the right. It's not stupid, it's just the way it is. This one is just as good. And it's the one that these planes use anyway. So. Not unreal. Is a light here? Nice. So guys, look at this weather. I know, we're not seeing much in terms of picture, but let me tell you, it's been quite a while for me to have like a broken cloud system that looked this good with such density. So you need to be careful this is the one here. Or maybe a little aft. That's where my good friend Philippe usually hangs around. So, yes, compass here.
32 Mike November at ramp 801 request pushback.
Arm profile on there.
Ground, pushback, and engine start approved. Face southwest.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face southwest. 32 Mike November.
Contact left to 0 Lima via Uniform 5 cross runway 20 taxi to holding point Bravo runway 20 via Uniform Sierra 3 Bravo.
Via Uniform 5 cross runway 20 taxi to holding point Bravo runway 20.
It's weird that it's only arming vertical speed. Not sure why.
Juliet Heavy, contact Lisbon Tower 118.
Let's set this to a positive.
Contact Tower 18.105, World Express 7 through Tango Juliet Heavy.
There you go. To tower.
World Express 7 through Tango Juliet Heavy, ready for departure. Runway 20.
World Express 7 through Tango Juliet Heavy, Lisbon Tower, wind 220 degrees, 12 knots, runway 20 cleared for takeoff.
Runway 20 clear for takeoff. World Express 7 through Tango Juliet
Approaching
Heavy.
20.
There you go. We're probably going to get a warning from VRAS that we are on the taxiway. That's because we'll be taking off on the displaced
On
threshold.
runway 20.
Alright, good to go. Flag set. Takeoff inhibit. Thrust set 1.4 and some change on EPR. Here's me live. V1, rotate. Positive right gear up. Auto throttle engaged.
Altimeter setting.
Oh my god, I forgot the altimeter. I think we got Betsy here.
World Express 7
Altimeter setting.
017.
119.105.
Contact Lisbon departure 111.105, World Express 7 through Tango Juliet Heavy.
Contact Left 20 Lima ready for departure runway
Going on
20.
here.
Contact Left 20 Lima runway 20 line up and wait. Runway 20 line up and wait. Contact Left 20 Lima.
Why don't we have thrust?
Lisbon Tower, transfer 6528 kilo, ILS approach runway 20.
This is a trim, by the way, don't worry.
Kilo, Lisbon Tower, continue. Recall transfer 6528 kilo.
Now we got trim. Why did it kill my thrust?
20 degrees, 12 knots, runway 20, cleared for takeoff, traffic 7 miles, final, no delay. Runway 20 cleared for takeoff, no delay, Patagonia 20 Lima.
Alright, power to climb, autopilot on. Speed check flaps up. No. What is this autopilot doing, to be honest? It's pitching my nose like crazy. I must have done something wrong before. It's always my fault. Alright, now can we engage autopilot? Thank you. Speed check flaps up. the TCAS level.
Solo 65 Juliet Kilo, wind 220 degrees, 12 knots, runway 20 clear to land. Runway 20
company
clear to land.
message.
Solo 65 Juliet Kilo. Portugal 20 Lima, contact Lisbon departure 119.105. Contact Lisbon departure
it's just the wheel code.
119.105. Portugal 20 Lima. Lisbon Tower, Air Nostrum 1145, ILS approach runway 20. Air Nostrum 1145.
Wow, look at the cloud layer.
Roger, Air Nostrum 1145.
And we are following the SID.
Ryanair 6GX Romeo, ready for departure, runway 20.
No, we did stall, Trexie. We did stall. It was some weird thing the autopilot was doing in the auto thrust. I mean, because when I was in flex temperature, it should automatically go to
Altimeter
auto.
setting.
Now we need to go to standard. Thank you. We should have gone to auto and immediately to climb thrust, but that's not what it did. It just cut the engines for some reason. It went all the way to idle, and the plane was climbing, and of course it nosed down. And then when it nosed down, I couldn't engage autopilot, so it was a mess. Not sure what happened there, to be honest. So let's see what Strata is doing for us now. Bring it up here. So you see, it's still injecting. It's reading our airplane position, and it's going to compare my current position to the winds aloft data, and it will load the winds aloft accordingly. Passing 10,000 feet, external lights on. This should have been off already. As well as when we turn off lights.
Lisbon Tower, Portugal 1095 ILS approach runway 20.
So pretty cool. I've already changed, I was thinking about this, I already changed this in the program, so something that probably needs a little tweaking. This program was recently released. It's not like something that that's like months away. No, it was fairly recently. I believe last week.
Nordic 3619 ready for departure, runway 20. Nordic 3619, tower number 2 for departure.
Yeah, I definitely placed the pressure into hectopascal. I'll show you in a moment. So this info here needs an update. Where is it? This one here. This needs an update. It's not correctly depicting all my choices in the program. So one bug. This window also can be moved easily. In order to move it to one place to the other, you need to do this, which is very funky. It doesn't. You can't pick up the top and move away. So very funky. That's our first turn to the right, up to the north. Fine now, although it have some issues on departure.
Degrees, 12 knots, runway 20, clear to land. Runway 20, clear to land, Portugal 1095.
I need to keep this window open because there's a glitch now that some of the text gets cropped out for some reason. Wow, look at that. And you can barely see. Now, I was going to say that there's a third outlet, but there isn't. There's just one at 37,000 feet, and this one at 6,000 like we watched earlier. And we're following our little SID here towards orbit. We reach flight level 150, which is not what we wanted. We need to continue climb, so I'm going to go on a limb here and just go to 30, I think it's 32. I'm going to confirm it. 340 actually. You might have said it, but because I was talking with you guys, I might have missed it. In any case, it's not here on the history because see, every time I press here, something changes. It's so weird what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on actually. It just changes the orders. So engine start, push back, contact tower, and then we only got to the taxi. So we are going to Lisbon Center.
Lisbon Center, World Express 73 Tango Juliet.
So this is the bug I warned that we had.
65.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, Lisbon Center. Good evening. Identified. Climb flight level 340.
Climb flight level 340, World Express 73 Tango Juliet.
So this is the
Heavy.
bug. It's not our fault today. It's not tuning in the frequencies for the audio correctly with the A300. It does sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. It's hard. But we are climbing to flight level 340. I really need to take a look at TCAS volume because it's so low. What is this?
ISA 578, descend
Yep, this would be it, but it's not functional.
1017.
This is the loudspeaker.
QNH 1017, ISA 578. November 837, Mike, expect a visual approach runway 34.
Expect a visual approach runway 34, November 837, Mike.
November 837, Mike, descend to 2,100 feet, vectors for the approach.
Descend to 2,100 feet, November 837, Mike.
I'm not sure where the volume for TCAS is, but it was just too low. It was warning me about stuff, but I couldn't hear what it was saying.
1934, descend by a start to 4,000 feet, QNH 1015.
Descend via start to 4,000 feet, QNH 1015.
So here we are, Barcelona. This is not a long flight, let me tell you. Because if I'm going to crash, might as well crash with a short flight. So Barcelona is up here.
Alpine 18 Romeo November,
There it is.
descend via start to
The
2,000
downside of
feet,
flying with
QNH
Lido
1018.
charts and Lido Navdata is that we don't get the flight plan loaded in. Speaking of flight plan, when I was presenting Strata, I forgot to show you one feature. I showed you the
Echo Papa, contact Magic Center 118.275. Center on 118.275, Malibu 6 Echo Papa.
still too loud.
Lisbon Center, Skyrunner 5042, flight level 202.
I showed you the way you can customize the weather. I showed you the radar system, but I forgot one other feature. I'll show you once we reach our cruise altitude. Shouldn't be long now. So, what do you guys think about the A300? It's a mix of. Betsy's looking fine today. It's a mix of old school, I would say, modern Airbuses, semi-modern, so like the Airbus A320, A340 family, not the Neos. The Neos have a few different features. It's definitely not the 350 or the 380, but it's a mix between the not so new Airbus Logics and some of the stuff you saw for example, on the Lockheed L1011 or the MD11 or the DC-10, but I never flew DC-10 on the channel, but along those lines. So it is a mix. The overhead panel is a little busy, it sure is, but if you take a good look at it, everything is automated. So the hydraulic panels are automated, the electrical power is automated, even the fuel management is automated. So a lot of the stuff that you see in modern day Airbuses was already here. It's just the way that it's presented to the crew that it's different. Definitely an old school plane, an older era plane. But there's a lot of features in this plane that were just simplified, compacted, and rebuilt for the A320 family and on. If you fly the A350, of course, this will all look very obsolete, very old. That plane is a piece of art, if you ask me. But let me turn off track IR so I don't move my head this much. But yeah, in terms of design, you can see that this is basically a short A330. You can see the cockpit is basically the A330 cockpit, or the other way around. The cockpit is this cockpit. Even the tail is similar to the A330 and A340 family planes. Wide body. I believe this one in passenger configuration will carry a 232 configuration, 2 aisle. But the major difference is actually, if I can get a better camera for that. I want a top-down camera. Where is it? Not good enough. Alright, maybe we can work with this one, huh? Chase, alright, chase camera is good. The main difference, profile, are the wings. So the wings are, the main wings, I mean, they're very, very good. They were redesigned in the A340 and A330 family planes. They're longer, the wing tips go farther, and there's a lot of differences in terms of size and shape. This one is definitely an old style wing. The fuselage, of course, is shorter compared to the 330, 300, or the 200 is longer. That was it. I remember seeing this plane for the first time. Portugal had a lot of Lockheed L1011, 727s. And when the A300 arrived, no one would have an idea that one day this plane, the company Airbus, would dominate the skies. Incredible. I remember perfectly well the first time ever I saw an A300. That was a Monarch A300 landing in Lisbon. First time ever. Those old school Marnies, blue and yellow. And I'll never forget someone was shit on that. The weather is just changed. Clouds fading away slowly. I wish the top layer would disappear as it did. But it's currently loading new retard data, so that's why it's getting wetter. So clouds slowly. That's very cool because Active Sky sometimes did this, and other times it was just a snap change, and it was a very abrupt change. Sometimes the waves would change almost instantly, break like that. Let's go back inside. Still climbing. Didn't look like it when we were out. I was actually asking myself if we were actually climbing. But we are. This is a little altitude bug. Down to 0 again. So, going through the systems here before we go back to StrataWX. This is the FCU, just like on a regular modern day Airbus. performance. So the F-Series is pretty much the same logics. You can even see the symbols and the knob shapes are just like in modern day Airbus. But of course we no longer have the decision height panel here. The autopilot are now autopilots, plural because there are two, are now buttons. We don't have control wheel steering or command here. Let's see if it changes freaks. So we're already in Madrid, Spanish airspace. So we no longer have control wheel steering, for example. This is like an auto trim mode. It doesn't make sense on the modern day Airbuses because it's fly-by-wire. But it did make sense back here. Of course, the main panel is very, very, very different, except for one little tiny detail. The gear lever was already up and down. There was no middle segment. Oh yes, there was. My bad. I thought it was just up and down. Now I found it was very funny because in this age of aircraft, there was always a neutral position. And I was about to say Airbus was a visionary, but apparently not. They did the exact same thing, and I completely forgot about the weather radar. No, it's still no. We probably had weather on the ground. No weather en route though. Yeah, but the main panel is very different. All these are, of course, analog, are now compacted into the PFD and ND. There's no such thing as clocks except for probably RMI on some airplanes. Also standby artificial horizon on some planes as well. I remember a few Airbuses, old school EIS 1 generation, also had airspeed, analog airspeed, but it's no longer the same. 2 CDUs, but these are old school monochromatic CDUs. Of course, the auto thrust system is very different on this plane. It does have an auto thrust, but it's controlled by this panel here. In the Airbus A320 and on, it's all embedded in the system. You don't need to have a control panel and just set it up on the CDU. Pedestal is a lot more busy in the modern day aircraft. This plane has this radio panel here that also features ACARS. Not all A300s had this, of course. Actually, some of the A300s had this big ACARS screen here that was dedicated to just for ACARS. So this is an option. And weather radar, brightness for displays. These are of the synoptics. This is still available today on the modern day Airbuses. And that's it. Of course, we have a very modern electronic flight bag. Flying track IR. Okay. Now, seems okay. It definitely was offset because I was sitting inside the bench. Betsy likes this little plane. And of course, engines weren't as powerful, they weren't as effective, and these planes were very prone to weather variations quite a lot. And these engines, man, these are Pratt & Whitneys, and they're not really in the powerful section of the aisle. Now let's go back to StrataWX, and I'll show you yet another feature that I missed earlier. Here we are back in Strata. So just to show you that I did set my QNH to HPA, but it's not assuming that in game, but that's okay. These are of course the options, but what I wanted to show you alongside with the radar, which you can see our flight plan, well, our flight path and the weather around it, but you can also look at the flight plan itself. Here it is, Lisbon to Barcelona. We got all data necessary for the flight, type of aircraft, the call sign, and the weather throughout the flight. So you can see here that we would be finding some turbulence here, then it would go all the way down, and there's also turbulence in Barcelona itself, and of course the wind farps. We're going to get some nasty nose wind again. You can also see our flight path in the map. There's our map here, and of course the briefing with all the waypoints and expected meteorology for Lisbon, Barcelona, and our alternate, which I don't believe, Lepa. I think it's Canaria, isn't it? I think it is. I think it's Canaria. So pretty handy, especially if you don't have all the data with you at the moment. You can easily come here and take a look at it. And yeah, pretty cool. But I really like this one. So you can actually preview what turbulence or precipitation you'll have. This is coming from Rain Viewer. I'm not sure what source this is, but it's pretty cool. So, zoom level not supported, probably don't allow it then. Just leave it at the maximum, which is this one. Alright, let's go back to game. Give me a moment here. And we're back. Right. So we are about to reach cruise altitude. So I'll leave you with the beautiful outside view and with the ATC running, and I'll be taking a little break and I'll be right back.
VS20 Lima, descend via start to flight level 110. Descend via start to flight level 110, Delta VS20 Lima. decimal 235, Tango Victor.
Alpine 48 extra Papa report ready for descent. Ready to descend, Alpine 48 extra Papa. Alpine 48 extra Papa descend to 9,000 feet, QNH 1011. Descend to 9,000 feet, QNH 1011, Alpine 48 extra Papa. Fueling 819 Quebec report ready for descent.
Ready for descent, Fueling 819 Quebec.
Fueling 819 Quebec descend to flight level 240.
Descent to flight level 240, Fueling 819 Quebec.
Top speed 14 Lima Charlie, contact border control 120.3.
Center on 120.3, top switch 14 Lima Charlie.
And I'm back.
Richard Center, DC69 Alpha Tango, flight level 360.
DC69 Alpha Tango Madrid Center identified.
Yeah, guys. Pretty uneventful flight, isn't it? Even a short flight can be uneventful. Yeah, it is lovely. I agree, Trixie. And while we were flying, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the sun was setting beneath these hills here. And you could see the sun, the shadow touching the plane. That's not from the weather, it's the weather injector. It's just the way Flight Simulator 2024 does things. And yeah, guys, currently we're flying in an area without much weather. There is weather down there, but the FS 2024 haze kind of hides it. This is of course an engine limitation, so right now StrataWX cannot draw that far away. I don't know how far exactly, but there's a cloud formation right in front of us, 12 o'clock at about probably 300 miles away, between 200 and 300, so 250 miles away. Yeah, Flight Sim cannot draw that far, so Strata cannot inject that weather that far away, which is a shame, but then again, weather that is so far away doesn't really affect our flight. And I don't know if you guys look outside when there's storms in the horizon, way down there, way far away, you can barely see the clouds, the haze, the sky haze forbid you to see from a certain distance, unless it just rained and the sky is completely clear. But that's a very specific condition. And again, if you guys want to look at real skies, open the window. It's not Flight Sim's fault that you guys are looking for depicting reality in your setting. And don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for realism. Realism, but there are limits to what the engines can do. So we got a nice tailwind, 50 knots tailwind. It's actually pushing us slightly, ever so slightly to the left. Plane's handling like a champ. It's tilting the wings slightly to the right. It's pretty much what it needs to do. Although I would say these planes are capable of controlling that with the rudder, but I'm still. I've seen worse.
556, flight level 340.
Air Portugal 556 meter center identified.
Just passing Madrid. Actually, we passed Madrid. Except from the north with the Pyrenees, Spain is a very flat country. So the north and Galicia, these are very rocky areas, with the Pyrenees being actually very tall mountains. But other than that, you can see here, this is a geographic map with the green areas that you can could. If you know the area, you know that these mountains here are huge, but overall Spain is a very flat country. Madrid is actually in the plateau, so it's actually quite high compared to sea level, but it is still a flat, very flat area. There's a lot of area in Spain which is, I wouldn't say desert, but almost a map. You can't really see that right now. Skies. You like pink skies, Betsy? I'm sure you do. So let's look at our horses in the back, see how they're flying. There's a little old school flashlight there. So what's in here? Some manuals. What's this? Reading. Oh, PBEs. This is a protection.
Whistle 14 Whiskey Victor, contact border control 120.3, have a good evening.
This is probably electronic flight bag. Switch control, nice. This entire panel is not functional. It's just a shame if you go deep with these planes, but these are mainly maintenance stuff. Jump seat here. Actually, these flights in the early days of the A300, there would be an engineer panel here. So this one is not, it's a two-pilot configuration. But still, a lot of flights took an extra crew member. This is where we would sit. There's this audio panel right here. There's always a mask somewhere. Oxygen mask somewhere. Probably one of these panels. Oh, the Reman turbine. Nice. This is where you pull it. I didn't know where it was actually. I was talking about this one on each side. Oxygen panel for the cannon, probably. Down here, there it is. Co-pilot should be in the same spot. Sorry, Betsy. There it is. And there should be one for the seat as well. Where is that?
Contact border control 125.6.
This knob is. Escape ropes. So you just open the window here on the left and on the right, and there will be ropes here to climb out of the cockpit. This is where the second jump seat should be, but this one does not have one. A little safe, if you want to call it, just a and a few more circuit breakers. None of these are functional on its own. Again, this is the first big plane Inibuilds ever done, so it's okay for them to skip some items. Plus, this particular airplane was primarily designed for Flight Simulator 2020, so a lot of features were more in this.
Fueling 819 Quebec, descend via start to 7,000 feet.
It doesn't work. This is the emergency gear extension. So let's take a look at also this is a cargo compartment. It's only available in the cargo variant. 5 jump seats in the back, each with their oxygen supply.
Ryanair
There's also
523
some places
Delta,
for
contact
storage up
border
here.
control
Very important
125
coffee
decimal
machine,
6.
perhaps the most
Center
important item on display.
135.6, Ryanair 523
And
Delta.
our horses are here, still static. Well, ecstatic. I had to do it. I had to make the pun. So main passenger door on each side. There's not two more doors and way up and way down there in the back. So this is a protection for insulation as well. And these pins can be removed in order to gain access to the cabin. This is the main door control, the main cargo door control. So we'll just clip through. These are little horses by Inibuilds. I wonder if they have the full model. No, they do not, just the head. Makes sense. And some cargo. All the way to the back. There are a couple of crates as well. In modern day planes, I often see that these have much more room, especially in the big freighters, for the crew to pass, but this one is doable. I think we can pass through here. So these are just crates. Crates, and more crates. Oh, let's go outside. All A300s are converted from passengers.
For Hotel Echo, descent flight level 190.
So that's why they still have the, I'm going to show you, they still have the windows and mirrors. They still have the windows. Rivets where the windows should be. There's also, that's the main door. There's also a section that's mandatory for evacuation. There's the rear doors. I'm not sure there's this function on that one. I know that there is one. This one is functional. At least not this one. Alright. Coming up on top of descent, not far now. About 15 nautical miles from wind 60. So we're just waiting for our clearance here. And let's take a chance, shall we?
Madrid Center, Portugal 885, flight level 370.
So 24 right here, Caspi, 3 Zulu.
Madrid approach 131.175, Portugal 20 Lima.
Portugal 885, Madrid Center, identified.
So I think we're going to come from the south. Yep,
Aero
definitely.
Nova 1087, contact
So let's spin
Barcelona
this.
Center 119.45. Center on 119.45. Aero Nova 1087, good day.
Approach. So I don't know which one we're going to get, but I'll always bet on ILS.
Ready for descent.
Ready for descent, Europa 63 Bravo Juliet.
ILS Zulu
Bravo
for
Juliet, descent to flight level 230.
Descent to flight level 230, Europa 63 Bravo
it says
Juliet.
24 right, but there could be a chance it's 24 left. Oh, there we go.
Heavy, clear start 30 arrival, runway 24 right.
Alright, let's accept it.
Please pass choosing arrival on the 24 right, World Express 7210 Virginia
I'm
Heavy.
going to go pick ILS.
Hotel Echo, descent flight level 110.
I'm pretty sure that's the one we'll get. Very straightforward.
Heavy 04 Hotel Echo, descend via start to flight level 110.
Descent via start to flight level 110, for Hotel
So
Echo.
our transition will be through T-Cloud tempo. And now comes the moment of truth. Will this plane crash like that? Let's see. Runway 24 Romeo ILS Zulu.
3 Bravo arrival, runway 20.
AT Kilo 3 Bravo arrival, runway 20, line for 80 Kilo.
Alpine 48X Papa, contact border test flight information approach 122.9.
Because it's less.
Contact border test flight.
Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. If you see orange screen, that means we crashed. Let's see. No crash! Alright. So we're going for runway 24 Romeo. So we need the ILS frequency, so it's 109.35. Let's ready for descent.
Ready for descent. North Express 7210 Virginia County. Descent to flight level 20, North Express 7210 Virginia County. Descend by a start to 4,000 feet, QNH 1016, North Express 7210 Virginia County.
Alright, 54,000 feet, yes, time. Chart here, so ILS is 109.5, 109.5, and course is 244. So 5, and course is 244. Go on the ILS front. Now we'll just continue our descent. The plane, of course, will follow all the procedures regarding the constraints, so no need to worry about that. What I am going to do is I'm going to reduce this descent rate. Minus 2,000 feet.
Contact Barcelona Center in the Manila destination flight North Express 7210 Virginia County. Heavy equipment. Barcelona
So we're going to Barcelona
North Express
Center.
7210 Virginia County. Passing flight level 2 runway at 7 to 4,000 feet.
Now let's go for our decision height. So we are Class C aircraft, I would say Class D aircraft. This is, of course, my weight. And our decision height at Cat 1 is 250 feet. So let's go here to our approach. EVA 250. We are going to land with flaps 30-40. No wind correction. That. Let's just confirm the weather down there. So we got Quebec, and wind is 220 at 7 knots, 27 kVOC, 27 degrees, 23 dew point, QNH 1016. Transition at flight level 060. So I'm very happy the plane didn't crash. So this workaround did work. We don't have navigraph charts. That's the only downside of it. At least we can fly to our destination. That's exactly what we need and want. So the reason why I reduced the descent rate is because I want to catch up with the optimal descent. So this is the vertical deviation. We want to catch up with that. We want that little chevron in the middle. This is something we can say as a fact that sorry. If you fly one Airbus, you can fly them all, because the logics are the same, with the exception of the A300. It's very quirky. There are some things that are not in the same position, and you need to look around a little bit for stuff once you get here, because you know it's not exactly like a modern day Airbus, but eventually you'll conclude, just as I did, that yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's just in a different position. There are a lot more watches, quote unquote, to look at. Wristwatches, as I call them. But other than that, these planes fly pretty much the same way. And of course, we're missing the fly-by-wire system, so you have to use a lot of trim. And aside from our little hiccup in the takeoff, we stalled the takeoff, it was very weird. I don't know what happened there. I have an idea that probably the plane was mixed up between flying in flex takeoff and when it was supposed to switch to auto. The setting probably wasn't correct, because remember I had there are two possible airspeeds you can set here: the preset and the standard. So the standard is the current one, the preset is the one you would want next, so for the auto throttle to hit, and I think one of them I left it at 100. So it was kind of mixed what to do. It was probably my fault, I'm not really sure if that was the thing, but it certainly looked weird. And one of the features on the A300 is this. Notice there are no curves here, so the plane cannot draw curved lines. Well, the software can draw curved lines. This is actually a feature from the A300. There's an option in your EFB to make curved lines, but I like it old school. It also doesn't draw the ILS approach, which is something you're used to see in modern day aircraft. This one does not model the ILS approach, so after you go to a certain point, you need to engage the old school ILS right here, unless you're going for an RMAP approach, which amazingly this plane is capable, just not RMP. You can perform RMAP approaches. One fun fact about this stream today is the last stream I was saying that I may choose either this plane, so this was the comeback I was talking about. I was divided between doing this as the comeback plane, and I said I had another one I was acquiring, so I was to decide between one or the other. So this TT icing range, so let's start out. Just in case we have icing, although the dew point is a little high, the temperatures don't seem to be in the range of icing, but still, let's not take chances. So as I was saying, I was divided between either making the stream with this new acquisition or with this plane, which would be that comeback. back I was talking about. Fun fact is that I wasn't actually planning, but I actually was able today to do both flights. Of course, I can't fly with 2 planes at the same time, nor do I make live streams on back-to-back, but I can tell you that probably tomorrow, I'll do my best. I don't know. I'll try. Probably tomorrow we'll have another live stream with a very, very special aircraft. I'm not gonna say what it is. It is a surprise, but I think you guys are gonna love it. I'll post a little tease on my channel. There's a funky approach to Barcelona. It's like a waiting corridor. By the way, this traffic you're seeing here that's around me, it's being generated by real-time traffic. So this is real-life traffic depicted in the sim. That's courtesy of BeyondATC and Flight Radar 24. They partnered to make this available when possible. You will of course require a Navigraph account to make this work, plus the BeyondATC software. But at least you don't need a Flight Radar 24 subscription. That would be insane. I don't think that anybody would do it. The costs already by buying BeyondATC and then subscribing to Navigraph are just a little too steep already. If you had to buy yet another third-party aircraft or software, that would be crazy. Meanwhile, let's revisit StrataWX here to take a good look at our approach here. So we are right now at this point here. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry about that. That's not the right way. No, this is the right way. No, here we go. So right now we are nearing Barcelona. So and the weather is up north, so no weather predicted here. But let's still take a look at our METAR here. So clear skies over in our vicinity. There's severe turbulence, but it's at 44,000 feet, not affecting us. Between flight levels 027 and 404. So way up there, we're below that. Freezing point is at 14.5 feet. That's very interesting. And there's SIGMET, so there's SIGMET in Madrid center, but as you saw, it's up north, so it's convective clouds, but it's not affecting our flight, which is very good. So Barcelona is not yet been picked up because we're still far away, but we can come here to our flight, and if we go to briefing, there it is. We got a METAR for Barcelona. Wind is 220 at 7. KVOC 27 degrees, dew point 23. QNH 1016. No significant change. So pretty much what we expected. Oh, there's a little glitch here. These things are easily fixed. There's little things that we can see here and there. Remember, this software has days of life, so it's been recently released. The team will definitely keep working on it, and but this is very good information for us. Alright, looks good. Let's go back to the sim. Or the game, depending on who you asked what it is. So we're still descending towards 4,000 feet, but bit far. Still need to go here, and then we'll need to go to one circuit to the left. And I think we're gonna make an S-shaped approach. Oh, I'll show you if I can. Where can I show you that? Maybe right here. Let's zoom out. It's visible. Right, it's almost visible. So you see here, we're going to go through this gate here, this airway here, and then we're going to need vectors to enter this other one. Then we're going to need actually something like this, and then vector it before the ILS. This is already the ILS path. So very funky approach in Barcelona. I'm not a fan of this approach. I think it's great for spending fuel. It's two S-shaped turrets, and they're gonna stay there for quite a bit. You can of course request a shortcut, and in real life ATC will definitely send you towards specific waypoints, but BeyondATC is not capable of doing that on its own. You might need to request a direct to approach waypoint. Someone was complaining the sound was too low. I hope it's better. You know who you are. You thought I would miss it. Is not that short, but it's also not that long that we had to activate time compression. This was intentional. If this plane was going to crash, I don't want to make a long flight. For those that don't know, this is the fourth attempt to fly this plane on my channel, so the last 3 attempts resulted in a WASM crash when inserting a star for the arrival. Clearly bug. Inibuilds is aware of it. They think they already have a fix, but unfortunately they didn't come along to release it yet. So. See it now with all those letters there. So you're gonna go up here to Lisbon, but then you're gonna make a left-hand turn, and then enter this S-shaped circuit. Come up here. We're gonna need vectors to turn in for the approach, and then go all the way down to Barcelona Airport, which is
Barcelona Center
over here somewhere. Too far to see anything yet. Alright, so now we are above the glide path. I'm going to turn on profile. The plane will start descending a little faster so you can keep up with the chevron. It's not like we have passengers, so we're not pleasing anyone in the back. Maybe the horses. There's the airport. That's one of the runways, and then we'll be landing on this side here, coming north to south. Once you are in this final approach fix, you need to switch to ILS and have the ILS tune in manually. This plane does not auto-tune.
Ryanair 62 X-ray Romeo Barcelona Center. Identify.
So for some reason it's not correctly reduce our speed to 250 knots here.
Barcelona Center, Ryanair 56 Foxtrot Mike, flight level 30. Ryanair 8161, descend to 4,000 feet, QNH 1016. Descend to 4,000 feet, QNH 1016, Ryanair.
It's so tempting to just turn in and land, isn't it? You have to follow procedures here.
Barcelona Center, identify.
Very tempting. Let's go to Barcelona approach.
Contact Barcelona approach 119.105 World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
We're also going to make a left-hand turn. It's the final turn.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Then we'll exit the SID.
Descend into 4,000 feet of information runway.
Actually, the star, I mean.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, Barcelona approach.
The RNAV approaches.
Expect the ILS will approach runway 24 right with Romeo uniform Lima to Whiskey
That's not
transition.
it.
QNH 1016, expect the ILS will approach runway 24 right with the Romeo uniform Lima to Whiskey transition.
On the
World
room
Express 73
2,
Tango Juliet Heavy.
not that transition.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, clear direct rollers, cross rollers at or about 4,000 feet, clear ILS Zulu approach runway 24
That's
right.
correct, but this is
Clear
not.
direct rollers, cross rollers to above 4,000 feet, cleared ILS
This is
Zulu
the
approach
correct
runway
one.
24
Insert.
right, World
No
Express
crash.
73 Tango
Thank
Juliet
you.
Heavy.
So we're making a slight turn to the left for Rullis. We're basically going to fly from this point on. We were going to fly to this one, but we can just use Rullis. And then here, this is when we are going to request vectors so we can join the BL423 and then make our descent towards the runway.
1.8.105.
Over to Tower 118.105, motor taxi 73 Papa.
Passing 10,000 feet, external lights on. Track IR back on. There's an airplane taking off right now. So the runway we'll be landing will be one of probably the other one on the right, yes, that we can't see right now. So let's put this on terrain just in case. This one will stay on radar. Now we're below the profile, that's the intended position. We'll turn on profile so the plane can capture it again. And again, the plane will not descend below the constraints. Here we are right here, our little plane here. Going through Rulos. And going all the way to BL428 where we'll be probably given vectors in. There's no other way, we can't fly direct to waypoint anyway. We need vectors. So we're no longer in icing conditions. decelerating. It's following FMC speed as well as constraints. Next constraint will be 220 knots. That's exactly where that blue line is. This apology is a little different. So we're passing the transition. Let me just confirm that's the case. Yeah, 060 and the local QNH is 1016. So we passed the transition. And now we're going to say 1016. Done.
Unit 7339, contact Barcelona Tower 118.105.
Set
Tower 118.105.
and cross-checked.
Unit 7339, bye-bye.
S-shaped turn here. Let's help the plane with flaps 1. Just want to stay away from the
Descend the start to flight level 080. Descend the start to flight level 080, Unit 9 Alpha Tango.
stay away from the stall buffet. We already had a stall today. No thank you.
Unit 9 Alpha Tango, maintain 2,300 feet until established. Clear dial zero approach runway 24 right. Maintain 2,300 feet until established. Clear dial zero approach runway 24 right. Unit 9 Alpha Tango.
Set up on the CDU, minimum decision altitude, MDA, not MDH, and the decision height, DH, is purely radar altimeter. This one that we set here is barometric pressure, which is much more reliable. Imagine using barometric altitude, your altitude varies as your current local air pressure, but radar altimeter is constantly reading your altitude towards the ground. So if there is a building or an obstacle, you might get your decision height sooner than desired. Go on a limb here and probably delete this continuity here, which I'm not allowed. Nice. Alright. Oh, we can delete the manual and then the discontinuity. See if that, yeah, that works. So you saw what I just did there. Because I don't know if there could be an issue and I might have to delay my turn because I see another plane parallel to us probably following this path here. Let's see who ATC gives the all clear first.
Tango Juliet Heavy.
Juliet 9 Alpha Tango, contact Barcelona Tower 118.105. Over to Tower 118.105, Juliet 9 Alpha Tango.
These are not direct vectors.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, clear direct BL 423. Resume on navigation.
Clear direct BL 423. Visual navigation. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Now it is. And that plane is going to go further down, so we got priority apparently. Still below the optimal right path. There's another speed constraint, 200 knots. That's where we are right now. Stay on nav mode, but until we get our ILS freak tuned in, we will change to ILS. So let's get another point of flaps here. So we're going to land with flaps full, but we're going to extend our, we only have the slats out, so we're going to extend the flaps to 15 now. Descending line. Because of the constraints, of course. So why is the vertical deviation going down? Because we need to keep the constraint at 2,300 feet. This doesn't compute well. So right now I turn on the ILS mode and we are on the landing mode. Hopefully this will all work out pretty good. Frequencies tuned in, course 244. Let's set our heading 243, alright, no big deal, we set 244. Alright, looks good. There's the runway, we got visual. We are going to remain at 2,300 feet until that glide path starts ascending. Localizers captured, glide slope disarmed. We have a Cat 2 available, not going to be necessary today. There's another speed reduction there. Even though it looks like we're below the assigned altitude, we're not. We're 3,300, just like what DHC told us to do. Maybe we could have descended a little slower to get here a little later. because we are spending a lot of fuel to stay at this altitude. Let's activate the approach mode. It's actually already active. Waiting for the glide path to come down. Let's go flaps 1520. And you're down. You're coming down. Green and locked. Flaps 30-40. Here comes the glide path. We're on the VM. This is the VAP, so approach speed 137 knots. Still maintaining 2,300. The plane is so slow that it looks like we are stopped in midair. Look at that. We're not. We're not, Betsy. Oh.
World Express 7210 Virginia Heavy on final approach 248.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, roger. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, contact Barcelona Tower 118.105 by 1.
Contact Tower 118.105. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy. Have a good evening. Barcelona Tower. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Wow.
ILS approach on the 248.
Light slope star.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy, Barcelona Tower, continue.
Recall. World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Still not clear to land. I don't see any other planes up ahead, but no planes. Not sure why we're not cleared yet, but okay. So we're fully established. I keep forgetting to use this camera when dropping the gear. I'm so sorry, guys. It's a very cool camera.
World Express 73 Tango Juliet Heavy.
Finally.
220 degrees, 7 knots. Runway 248 clear to land.
Clear to land.
Runway 248 cleared to land. World Express 73
Autopilot
Tango
off.
Juliet Heavy.
Wind slightly from the left. Glide slope. Anti-skid was set to medium.
Approaching 2-4 right.
Confirmed. I keep pushing the plane left because I see the wind, but it's not the case. 500 check. A little high. glide path. We're on this. The pumpy lights say we're too high, but we're on the optimal glide path. Nice, smooth reversers. Auto brake on. Papa 7, but it did tell us to vacate to the right. That's what we're going to do. Runway exit procedures. Taxi to the gate. Didn't go to the ground.
Link 635, Barcelona ground, pushback approved, face northeast, pushback and engine start approved, face northeast, Link
Please stop here.
World Express 7310 Juliet Heavy, request taxi to company cargo down.
World Express 7310 Juliet Heavy, taxi to cargo 136 by Papa 5 Echo 7 Tango 8, Hotel November, Sierra Kilo November, Bravo 11.
Taxi to cargo 136 by Papa 5 Echo 7 Tango 8.
Alright, it's not that far from here. I'm going to follow the BeyondATC little chart. You guys can't see it, but you're going to have to trust me. Because it's always hot when I fly this plane after landing. Way too hot. I believe this is a bug. So I was looking into ground charts here. My taxi, lost my taxi guidance, but I still have it on BeyondATC page, so I'm gonna need to turn here. Sorry about that, guys. It's just bugs. I can't do much about them, to be honest. Turn here. That's the cargo area there. Fly 1, don't know that one. Refrigerator, Mountain Air 737s. We made a flight with Mountain Air, if you guys remember. Back in the day. Now on this one, I'm going to make a right-hand turn. There's a DHL gate, apron if you wish. Not sure if you're going to get there. Right now, it will be gate. It's the first gate. Which one is it? Gate 136. Let's see if GSX allows us to select it. Let's make a right-hand turn here. Oh, there's our gate agent there.
Etihad 11 for heavy, taxi to holding point, Golf 1 runway 24 left, deactivate Lima Sierra 1 Lima Sierra, Kilo, Golf 1. Taxi to holding point, Golf 1 runway 24 left, deactivate Lima Sierra 1 Lima Sierra, Kilo, Golf 1 Etihad 11 for heavy. Router 6366, contact Barcelona Tower 118.33. Over to Tower 118.22063366, have a good evening. Qatari 31 November Heavy, 8285 request pushback and engine start.
I can't see you.
Heavy, Barcelona ground, pushback approved. Phase northeast. Pushback approved, phase northeast.
Oh, I can't see her.
Heavy.
I can't see her. Alright, let's go.
SmartLink 635, contact Barcelona Tower 118.33. Over to Tower 118.33.
That's good enough.
SmartLink 635.
I think we did it. I'm not sure. Let me see. What can I do? I can't see her. She's just below my nose. Alright, I think it's good enough. Let's go hit the dome light here. Lots of stutters. And let's cut engines. 1. 2.
All aircraft be advised information Sierra now current, QNH1017.
Good. Good. Requesting boarding. Alright, welcome to Barcelona. Cargo doors being open. I see the pretty horses. Alright, let's turn off the heaters. Fuel pumps. No external power. Chucks on. GPU. External power on. filter off. Oh, we didn't turn on the oxygen supply to the back. My bad. I missed this. It's part of the checklist. That's why you follow checklists, guys. Anyway, welcome to Madrid. This has been a very pleasant flight. Not just because we, what is this camera?
Contact tower 118.
Not just because we were able to debut a new software called StrataWX, which is, I'd say, my number one choice from now on for weather injection. And I need to turn off my aircraft's beacon lights, leave the logo. There we go.
Holding point Golf 1 runway 24 left, via Lima, India, Sierra, Echo, Kilo, Golf 1 cross runway 02.
Alright, so like I was saying, not only because I was able to debut this new software called StrataWX, and I really loved the way it injected weather very smartly, gives you a lot of customization options for the weather. It really is a game changer for me. It's been a long time since I wanted a competitor for Active Sky, and there it is, and I think it can pretty easily beat Active Sky in everything it does. But only time will tell, of course. We're going to wait for future updates. We found a couple of bugs, nothing big, but still they need to be addressed. I also enjoyed the flight because this was my fourth attempt to fly the Inibuilds A300, and I finally managed to do it. And what a plane! What an incredible experience it can be. Kind of old school meets modern day logics and engineering. So it's very pleasant, very cool to see. Plane has a few bugs still, but nothing that Inibuilds couldn't solve if they would upgrade the plane. Not sure when that's going to happen, but hope it's soon. Guys, this has been the Glide Slope flight out of Lisbon to Barcelona. And let me tell you, you guys are going to love the next flight, I think. If you enjoyed business jet aviation in my last few flights, I think you're going to love this next one. You're just going to wait and see. I can't say more. You're just going to wait and see. It's very special, to be honest. And I keep saying that whenever I debut a new plane or something like that. But it is quite special. You guys are going to see it and you're going to agree it's special. So if you like what you saw, remember, leave that little like, hit subscribe as well, helps a lot. And if you're feeling generous, the Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description. Everything you guys help monetarily, it's to be reinvested in new add-ons such as planes and sceneries and software, depending on what type of software. I'll put a link in the description for StrataWX. I appreciate them giving me the opportunity to review the software, and I'm not biased. If I didn't like it, I would say it as is, but honestly, I loved it. I didn't like it, I loved it. It's really cool. Cool UI, user interface, cool features, very interesting hybrid mode. Perhaps the strongest argument for this software is the hybrid mode, in my humble opinion, because it gives you some power to make things work in your way. But guys, the link will be in the description. It's not there yet, but I'll put it after the video ends, the live stream ends. And again, if you guys are feeling blue for some reason, remember there's always a blue side above those clouds. So keep your chin up, better days will come. And this has been the Glide Slope signing out. Bye bye.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as soar into the light. The stars above
I have to say,
begin to shine.
before we end, I need to thank Andrew, Drexy, and Mama C. Dumont. Thank you for coming, all of you guys. See you next time.
The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums beat. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the